Welcome to Your Town. I'm Wendy Brodie, the culinary host of Your Town. My guest today is Bert Cutino, a true icon of the area. I should call you the Honorable Chef Bert
No,
Cutino.
just call me Bert. I like that fine.
Bert Cutino, I was given your resume, and of course it would circle the block. The awards are out the door, as I say. But one of the things that stands out, you were National Chef of the Year. You were also local Monterey Peninsula Chef of the Year. Right. You are now currently and recently now a Master Chef of the American Culinary Federation Dream for Chefs to Aspire to.
Right. Quite an honor. It's hard to believe, even myself.
Yes.
Little guy from Monterey, huh?
And here, the Sardine Factory, co-owner of that incredible historical restaurant, along with Cannery Row Management Company.
Right.
Among hotels and fast foods and many other things. And it's the other things that I want to know about you today, besides your culinary skills. But one more thing we'll get into, but I have to brag about you. You've been an inspiration. You've been a mentor to me. But you are such a philanthropist. You pay it forward all the time. And one of your great accomplishments on the peninsula, personally, is the Drummond Culinary Academy with Rancho Cielo,
Yes.
or at Rancho Cielo. And so we'll want to talk to you about that. And the other thing I want to explore with you, you travel the world, whether it's on ocean cruises and tours and judging Olympics and pro star kids, but you really see where food is going today, and that's what I want to find out about, besides your own passion.
Right.
So let me start out with a first question.
Okay.
Where did you get your start and inspiration?
Well, it's kind of interesting in a sense, being from Monterey here, a fisherman's son, and I guess, you kind of expected at a young age to go on that boat and become maybe a fisherman, passed on from your father, your grandfather, and so forth on, especially a lot of us who are here whose family came from Sicily, and that's our heritage, Sicilian heritage. And my whole thinking, of course, was not really to go on a fishing boat, even though I had the opportunity to do that when I was 13. But I ended up having another opportunity because fishing was no future, because it had, 1952, sardines disappeared. In fact, when I went out there weren't any more sardines, to be honest with you. And it was a great experience as a kid to see all that and to enjoy getting 5-10 ton of fish. It was exciting and all that. But I felt that was not going to be a future for me. I was fortunate in a way where my brother got a lifeguard job at Homeland's Guest Ranch in Carmel Valley, and they needed a dishwasher. And my brother wanted to be the good guy to help him. And he says, how would you like to wash dishes out at a guest ranch? But wait a minute, he says, you're going to ride horses, you're going to come to the pool and see the girls, because he was a lifeguard, right? He's going to be at the pool. And I just got excited, and then I was going to get 30 cents an hour. That's a lot of money in those days. And I got excited about that. But my family didn't. In fact, they chewed out my brother for even bringing it up to me, because you had to live out there for the summer. But I was determined. And what the heck, washing a few dishes? I got to probably have a lot of leisure time. Not the case. I was washing dishes by hand 3 meals a day. Actually, I didn't see daylight. But I did get an opportunity to show my talent a little bit in the kitchen, because growing up in my family, my mother, who was an excellent cook, we had a basement filled every day with 30 people. And I remember as a young kid helping her cook.
All family?
Family, friends. My father would invite everybody. A lot of the fishermen, it was just traditional. We can go to anybody's house. We know what they're serving at different days. And And I had an opportunity to do that because one day the chef made spaghetti. That word spaghetti kind of gives me a chill. We say pasta, right? And I didn't eat it for employee meal. And he says, next time you make it, type thing. And I said, okay. I mean, I cooked with my mother. It was no big deal to me. And the next time I made it, the owner came in, Mr. Holman, who owned Holman's Department Store. And he always would come in and wanted to have the employee meal. Wanted to make sure the employees were taken care of it. And the Holman's Guest Restaurant was a high-end place at that time. So I made the sauce, and the chef came in that morning, and he said, I know there's one thing you forgot to put in that sauce. And I said, sugar? He says, who told you that? And I said, well, it cuts the acid down. He says, you know that already? I says, well, my mother, I cook with my mother. Oh, your mother must be a good cook and all that. Anyway, he liked what I did. And Mr. Holman came in, and he tasted it, and he slammed the plate down. He says, chef, don't you serve this. I said, oh, I'm fired. He says, serve this to the customers. And that's when the chef turned around to me and says, would you like to learn how to cook? Anything to get away from the dishwasher, right? So what happens is he says in between my shift, I didn't have much time in between my shift as it was, but anyway, he gave me something that I experienced there that to me I enjoyed, and it came kind of easy, and he kind of took me under his wing, even to the point that he gave me a raise and they didn't give it to me, and I was very upset about it, and he was willing to quit over it. And he told me, he says, if you're worth it, just remember, if you're worth it, they should take care of you and they should pay you. Anyway, that kind of stimulated me to go into working in restaurants, busboy, dishwasher, eventually maitre d'. But, my whole goal was really to be in business somehow, and I didn't know the vehicle. And this became the vehicle for me to do that.
You really have mastered not only the culinary, but also, as you said, the businesses, and you've described it so beautifully. It is the vehicle for your business. It
was a vehicle for me to get through, yeah. I mean, at one point, of course, my family, my brother was a famous water polo coach, teacher, and my father's sisters were teachers in Italy. So it was kind of, influenced to me to go into the teaching. It's interesting because being a chef, you are a teacher. When you go through that process. And I think I found that more than anything else, it's fine to do the investment thing, but you should do what your passion is. And this became a passion for me. And I really didn't know much about the certification program and really even being a member of a chef's association, which we have locally here.
Right. I want you to touch base on that because it's so important to understand why we have one locally and nationally. So
right. And of course, one of the most important factors of that is really to express the profession. It's important that the chefs or the culinary profession itself gets recognized. Up until 1977, it wasn't for the American Culinary Federation, we were called domestics in the titles. Government titles, and the organization changed that. And I think, we have to be concerned at dealing in food, as you and I both know, and many chefs know, that cross-contamination is our enemy and is really something that we need to have a knowledge on. So the sanitation aspect is so important. So to be certified, I felt would be inspirational to my staff, and as I increase, I had more than one restaurant eventually, and with the variety of restaurants and then hiring chefs for those positions, I felt it was very important that we have the certification program. And locally, with the local chapter that I got involved with, as you know, and the camaraderie, of course, a lot of the European chefs were in there at the time, remember?
How many years do we go back then?
Oh, my God, I go in the 70s, 72. 1972, and there was only about 10 members. That were, and there was mostly European chefs.
And thanks for including a woman.
Well, you were, I remember it so well, when we brought you aboard, and right away there's all this tendency, the women are over here, the men over here. I'll tell you the truth, I wouldn't ask someone to go pick up a 40-pound pot, and I would say, well, she can't do it, but I wouldn't pick it up myself. 40-pound pot. So why are we going to be so segregated in that thinking? I've always been a proponent, as you know. If you can do the job, you deserve the pay. And if you have the ability and the talent, it should be given to you, that position. And I don't think there should be inequities in pay. I think if the job calls for a certain level of payment that a person should receive, whether you're female or male or whatever, it should be definitely there. And it is happening, as you know. I think the American Culinary Federation, the local chapter, and the chapters throughout the country have really reflected that a lot. And we do have a lot of ladies in our midst these days.
Isn't that wonderful?
And I think it's great. No, I always think it's great.
We're human beings first.
Well, yes,
but,
yes.
But we all bring something to
We all
the
bring
table.
something to the table. And I think if you have that talent, it's great to see it expressed. And after all, the benefit is two ways. Benefit to the consumer who experiences it, the benefit for the person who's doing it. And that's why, as a graduation speaker in the Culinary Institute of America or even your alma mater, they call me to go and speak. They call me kind of the hitman because I tell them, I mean, yes, but if you don't really have that willing to dedicate yourself, willing to have that passion and have all the other requirements, how are you going to succeed? First of all, you're going to be in something you don't want to be in. Now, a lot of people tell me, well, you got this, you got that, what are you doing in the kitchen, what are you doing? But that's my love. That's what I love to do. I get excited about creating a new dish with my staff, or customers like it. And sometimes customers don't like it, and then you got to go back to the drawing board. But the key is to please your customer. We've been in business 48 years with the Sardine factory. That's a long time. I keep saying 20 years when customers tell me, how long have you been here? I know 20 years. He said, when did you start? I was 5. No. But
it's a landmark, and it has so many incredible rooms, and we'll have some pictures of that later we'll post up. But you have really the complete experience from the underground wine cellar to a conservatory room and the captain's room and the history behind it with what was it, Play Misty for me?
Oh, yes, yes. When Clint Eastwood came to us, he wanted to shoot one scene, give us a certain amount of money, and this was the first time he was directing his own movie and his Malposa. And my partner, Ted, who I've been partners for 50 years, one of the greatest guys in the world. I mean, we're more family than anything else. And well, we're still partners, which is terrific. And our families get along great. The key there was, how could we get more exposure? You know, a couple of young guys starting with $900 really cash. A doctor that was in it with us for a while, Dr. Caselli, and helped. And I put up the houses. In fact, Ted became my partner in one of the houses. And we put that up, but, you know, you really needed cash to really make something happen in a dilapidated old building down on Canny Row where there's really nothing else happening down there. And, of course, you see the comparison today, and people can't believe it. But the thing is that we weren't afraid to fail. Our whole key was we're going to be a success. And we just knew that we were going to make it work. And I think, you know, we put ourselves tremendously into it. Hours didn't mean anything. 7 days a week. I mean, I still work sometimes 7 days a week. But when you enjoy what you do and you're getting the rewards from customer satisfaction, I think it's really fantastic. And you know, the other thing is, I get an opportunity to go out on the floor, be a host too, and meet people, and I enjoy doing that and interact, and I've met people from all over the world. And it's amazing.
Well, you really are an inspiration from every dimension, from the kitchen to the front of the house, and all the people you employ, that spirit of family carries through.
We still do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, back to the world of food. Since you've traveled, you get to see it. Where is food? I mean, we had comfort food, we had the tasting menus, we have molecular. Talk about.
Well, I think one of the greatest experiences I had when I took a team to the Culinary Olympics, and excuse me, the word Olympics we can't really use, international competition, but it is an Olympic competition, international. Yeah, because they have that registered in sports. My brother used to always tell me that you got Culinary Olympics, but we were the real Olympics. Anyway, our Olympics. And for me, it was really awakening to see different countries in competing and different way they were not only presenting their food and then what they were presenting. And it was such an educational experience at the same time. And right away you see things that I didn't know about that, you know. And I've always been one that's done diligence, you know. If I don't know something, I want to go find out about it. I want to read about it. I want to check it out. I want to see if it's available, if it's something really exciting and some kind of a vegetable. Of course, you know, we have such a variety today that we can, I mean, a lot of this inbreeding thing they're doing, and it's just really such a tremendous access today. And that kind of opened me up even more, because then you see it, you know, you got 40 countries competing with their national teams and their regional teams, and it's just a wonderful enlightenment in so many ways. And then, of course, like you say, you've been a visiting chef on a cruise ship, and so have I a couple of times, and that's been another experience, and see how they do on cruise ships and the food that they're doing there. It is amazing. This is amazing.
Oh, as you said, our repertoire we have to work with. I mean, there's every color of food
Every color,
nowadays,
presentations. You know, we probably can speak for hours on this, but I think you got to look at what the trends are, and the trends today is interesting. You know, farm to table. You hear a lot about farm to table, directly going to the farm, bringing it to the restaurant. There's a lot of things I was doing in the beginning, like artichokes and other things. We were doing that in 1968 when we opened the restaurant, because I believed in that, and especially in our regional products here. And God, we got the Salinas Valley here. I mean, it's just a big basket, you know, the bread basket in a sense.
We are so lucky.
We're so lucky in that regards. And then I think the chefs being creative and taking various products and creating them and make them and presenting them in such a wonderful way. I know a lot of things you do are so beautiful. In your presentation, you have that artistic presentation. But we do have so many different trends today that are telling us something. And comfort food is still kind of in, you know. It hasn't really gone away. I think one of the most interesting things I've seen is that the sustainability has become a big play in seafood, in meats, for example, locally sourced. Those are the keys, and it's amazing how that comes into play with different names of the meats and so forth.
I couldn't agree with you more. And one of the things that's been tough for me is the concept of only buying locally, because there's so many talented, dedicated, sustainable people.
Right.
As you said, we could go on and on and on, and I hope you'll come back. And our next guest is going to be one of your Monterey Fisher family heritages, the Shake family.
The Shake, Teeny Shake.
And he had a great idea about doing something on the wharf. I mean, it would be nice on the wharf, but I want to invite you back because we've only scratched the surface of Bert Cutino.
Oh, I'd love to.
But doing something about the history of Monterey wharf families.
Right.
And so let's figure that out.
Yeah, I kind of grew up on that wharf myself.
I can't thank you enough for coming and being my first guest. Thank you.
Well, you know something, Wendy? It's always a pleasure and an honor, and I will do anything for you.
Thank
You're
you.
the best.
Thank you.